Okay, so we're now gonna start our next row, which according to this pattern here is the slip stitch. And at the end, I should have 30 slip stitches to match the 30 double crochets that I had in the first row. So that's what I'm aiming for here. To get started on the slip stitch, the first thing I'm gonna do when you crochet, you always work from right to left. So I'm gonna flip my work like this. So this again becomes the space that I'm working in. And I am going to get my working yarn on top. And I can take off the stitch marker that I used to hold my place because now I'm gonna work it. But I'm gonna leave that first one just so we can all pay attention to where we're going. So a slip stitch is very easy. It's almost like a chain, except you're going inside each of those stitches that we just counted, right? So I marked this first one, it's easy to see. I'm gonna put my hook right back into that loop of the working yarn. And all you do is so I've got the loop on my hook. I'm gonna put my hook inside of that stitch and I'm gonna pull through the stitch and I'm also gonna pull through the loop. So now this becomes my loop. Really important. You want this slip stitch to be loose. If it's too tight, the pretty braid effect that we're looking for on the tree skirt, which I can kind of show you right here. Here we go. See this pretty braid right there? This is what we're creating whenever we do the slip stitch. And if it's too tight, it's gonna get lost. You're not gonna see it. So you want it to be nice and loose. It also helps it lay flat. If it's too tight, it's gonna start to cramp up. So every time I'm working on these slip stitches, I'm thinking about that so it gets nice and loose. All right, so I did the first one. So I'm gonna take this off now. And I'm actually gonna mark this, my first slip stitch. I'm gonna mark it so when I count, it's easy to find. And then here forward, I'm gonna go right through each of those stitches. So the next open loop is right here. So to slip stitch, I go right inside, I pull through the yarn, nice and big. There was my first one, it's marked with the stitch marker, and there's my second one. And so all you're gonna do is repeat this all the way through until you get to the very end of your row, and I will meet you there and we'll count and see how this looks.